Well, this morning is our fourth and final installment of our Dry Eye series as we continue our look at ocular health. Now, we've discussed dry eye, but today we'll talk about how it's tied to hormonal changes and menopause. Joining the balancing act this morning is Dr. Marguerite McDonald, an ophthalmologist from the Ophthalmic Consultants of Long Island, and Dr. Paul Karpecki, an optometrist from Ocular Vision Group from Lexington, Kentucky, here to talk about chronic dry eye as the other symptom of menopause. Good morning to the both of you. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Now, I have to tell you, I've learned an awful lot going through this series with all of you, but for our viewers who may have missed the series, can we recap what chronic dry eye is?
You know, it's a good question because chronic dry eye is, if you imagine that a normal person who doesn't have dry eye disease, they're not aware of their eyes. They function daily, they see, they do the things they need to, but they don't feel them. Imagine if every day you were feeling your eyes, you're feeling irritation and burning and stinging and dryness. And then imagine that, you know, it would be every time you tried to function, it would be a visual disturbance and you'd have this irritation or uncomfortable feeling. That awareness on a chronic basis is what dry eye is in this sense. And it's because of problem with the quantity or quality of their tears.
And you know, it's interesting, I mentioned at the top, you know, for viewers who may not have seen it, but we've had an awful lot of viewer feedback on the series. And one of the questions that we continue to get is women whose dry eye didn't appear until they got menopause. Is there a connection here?
Absolutely, there is, Danielle. Anybody can get dry eye, and we all get drier eyes as we get older. As a matter of fact, environment, oral medications make a difference, computer use, but women of the same age as men are almost always drier in their eyes because of these hormonal changes. There is a very complex interaction between estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, and yes, women make a little testosterone, and the amount and the interaction that occurs between these three hormones as we get older leads to chronic dry eye, in women in particular.
All right, so then is dry eye associated with aging?
Yes, it is, and absolutely everybody does get drier as we get older. And you know, many people have situational dry eye as well. They're okay most of the day except when they're in their car with the window down. Or they are under the ceiling fan at night in their bedroom.
Can it get worse over time?
It has been proven without treatment to get worse over time.
Without treatment. So are there medical treatments available for menopausal women who have dry eye?
Absolutely, Danielle. The pillar of dry eye treatment is to have a good artificial tear like Fresh Coat. Fresh Coat treats all three layers of the natural tear film, and it's the only tear in the U.S. that's available by prescription and covered by most people's insurance. There are also topical prescription medications besides Fresh Coat that can be used, nutritional supplements and ointments at night.
And this is something I think that, you know, no offense, doctor, but it's something that we hear women get an awful lot. Is this something that can affect men as well? And
it's true, it does affect women more commonly, but men are not immune to dry eye disease. In fact, there are many other factors. It could be the environment, it could be computer use, it could be systemic diseases, it could be previous surgery where you have a temporary dry eye. There are so many other factors that still affect men that they too are prone to dry eye disease.
And you know, you're right, because so far we have seen this as a female problem. And we know, though, as from what you said, men do get dry eye as well. But I wonder if people out on the street knew this. And so that's what we did. We took to the streets to hear what you or your man had to say. So check this out.
I think women would get dry eye more. They seem to have more stuff like that. Seems like a woman's problem.
I would imagine it's older people?
I think all kinds of people do. I mean, if you've had LASIK eye surgery, you tend to get dry eyes more. I think allergic people get them also.
But I wear contacts, so they get really dry, contacts stick to them, and I have to use a lot of eye drops and stuff like that.
I think maybe surfers or people that are in the water a lot, or maybe people using prescription medicines.
I think a woman would get dry eyes more than a man would.
Women, because they use a lot of makeup.
All right, so based upon that, as you see, not a lot of people knew about it, but it is true, men get dry eye as well.
They certainly can. Chronic dry eye does affect men, sometimes not as much as women, but it definitely is something they need to be aware of.
I have to tell you, just such a great series, and thank you all for coming on and talking to us about this.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
And if you'd like to have more information on dry eye, simply go to the website. It is freshcoat.com. And I hope you've enjoyed our dry eye series. If there is a question that you want answered, we want you to email us at thebalancingAct.com. We'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.